Hello, this is Tomlin from TomlinHarmonicaLessons.com, and today's lesson is a little bit different. It's titled, Where Are You on Your Harmonica Journey? And I'm not going to teach you anything today, but what I am going to do, I'm going to get you to self-assess yourself so you know exactly where you are, and then that means that you'll be able to know exactly what you need to work on to get to the next level and become an awesome harmonica player. So, why do you need to know what level you're at? Well, you need to know what level you're at because if you're a beginner harmonica player and you start trying to play overblows before you play clean single notes, you're really going to struggle. So if you know exactly what level you're at, you can go to my website and you can pick lessons that are appropriate for you and actually get ahead on the instrument rather than getting frustrated. So that's why it's super important. And then why do I need to know what level you're at? I need to know what level you're at so that I always send you lessons that are good for you, rather than sending you a very basic melody if you've been playing for 20 years and you're a pro musician, or sending you something insanely complicated and jazzy if it's the first week of you playing harmonica. These are bad situations to be in. So if I know what level you're at, I can send you exactly what you need. So I divide up my lessons into 4 different difficulty ratings, basically. So there's beginner, advanced beginner, intermediate, and advanced intermediate. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through each of these levels and describe what I mean by them and give you a little bit of an example of the kind of things that I work on at those levels. So first level is beginner, and as it suggests, this means you're just starting out and you're going to be struggling to play clean single notes. So when you pick up the harmonica, you're going to get something like this, rather than, and you're not entirely sure what the distances are like on the harmonica. You know, between holes 1 and 10 feels like a mile, and you don't always get it right when you move around. But what you want to do, what your desires are, you want to be able to play some simple tunes so that you can play for your friends and family and they actually recognize what you're doing. You want to make your rhythm better and keep a solid beat by tapping your foot in time. And probably most excitingly, you want to be able to follow a 12-bar blues. So you probably recognize what a 12-bar blues is, but you're not entirely sure what makes it a 12-bar blues. So the kind of things that I cover with a beginner harmonica player are playing simple melodies, for example, something like taps. Or simple rhythms like a train rhythm. So that is how I would describe a beginner harmonica player. You're just starting out, you want to learn how to play just some simple tunes that give you a little bit of impetus and get you excited about the instrument. So let's have a look at what the next level is, which is advanced beginner. So as an advanced beginner, you're feeling a little bit more confident and coordinated on the instrument. And you probably feel that your rhythm is getting more solid when you're playing simpler tunes, but not completely solid all the way through. One thing that's an absolute definite, if you're an advanced beginner, you can play clean notes. If you can't play clean notes, then you're not an advanced beginner yet. That's really important. And other things that you might have started doing already include bending a little bit on the 4 draw. So you might have something that sounds almost like a bend, like, it's not a full bend, it's not a, but you're getting a little bit of something. You're getting a little bit of movement. And as an advanced beginner, I'm assuming that you've already had a little go at jamming a little bit over a 12-bar blues backing track. Or maybe you've got a friend who plays guitar or piano and you've tried jamming with them. But when you do jam, you've found some safe things to play over and over, and you're not doing anything other than that. So you've probably discovered that the 4 draw sounds great over everything, and you're probably doing something that sounds a little bit like this. it sounds okay, but you're not doing much more than that. So the kind of things that I teach advanced beginner players, I teach them some simple 12-bar blues examples that get them thinking about the chord changes and get them learning some nice vocabulary. So things that'll sound like this. Okay, so some simple 12-bar blues, and I also like to work on getting comfortable changing between single clean notes and chords and doing alternation between that. And that kind of thing will sound like this. So, if you want to be working on that, then you're probably an advanced beginner. If that sounds difficult to you, then you're not an intermediate. This is important to remember. You don't want to be jumping ahead. You want to get strong foundations. So let's have a little look at what the intermediate player is like. So an intermediate player can bend holes 4 and 2, no problem. So they can get, so it's the 2-draw whole step bend. They can get the 4-draw half step bend. But when you try and bend your 3-hole, there's not much control. So you might get something from here to, but you're not really sure about hitting the right notes in between. So if someone asked you to play a 3-draw whole step bend, it wouldn't be there. Or if it is there, you're probably getting nasty feedback, squealy kind of sounds. So those are the kind of things that I'm going to be helping you with as an intermediate player. Now, you've probably got a repertoire of simple melodies that you can play without any problem whatsoever. So things like Oh Susanna. And that's all no problem whatsoever. But when it comes to a 12-bar blues structure, you can follow it, you understand it, you're comfortable, but you don't really know what notes to hit apart from the root notes. So you know that the 2-draw is the root note of the 1 chord. You know that the 4-blow is the root note of the 4 chord. And you know that the 4-draw is the root note of the 5 chord. And when you play over a 12-bar blues, you focus on those notes, but you don't play anything else. So that's something that I will be spending a lot of time working on with intermediate players, which is, what are your other target notes? How can you make a solo sound really great over a 12-bar blues? So the kind of things that you'll be working on as an intermediate player include that 12-bar blues theory and note targeting, as well as more techniques. So things like warbles, glissandos, advanced bending, and that kind of thing, as well as controlled bending. Okay, so if those things are things that you struggle with, then you're probably not an advanced intermediate yet. You need to focus on your intermediate knowledge. Now let's have a look at what an advanced intermediate player sounds like. So as an advanced intermediate, you can do all of the draw bends from holes 1 to 6. And you've probably done a little bit of blow bending as well on the high end. So maybe like the 8 blow bend or the 9 blow bend, but you're not really sure when to use it, and it might not be very stable or strong. As well as that bending stuff, you're going to have a lot of great techniques to hand. So you'll have your warbles, your glissandos, your chugging, some tongue-blocked octaves. So it means that you'll be able to play something like this, no problem. So if that sounded difficult to you, then you're probably not an advanced intermediate player yet, because that's the kind of thing that I'd expect you to be able to do no problem. Okay, so as well as that, your 12-bar blues is super natural, super comfortable. You can play it in your sleep. And you're probably also pretty comfortable playing over weird blues structures without worrying about it too much. But when you do solo, you feel like you're doing the same things over and over and you're playing it safe. So you have a good knowledge of second position, but you might not be using any of the other positions when you're soloing. So that's something that I really focus on with advanced intermediate players. So I look at first position and third position especially in a blues context. And that'll help you to get more in-depth musical knowledge, so that when someone says, okay, we're going to play a tune but it's not blues, you don't get thrown. You can kind of fall in and make something sound pretty good. So as well as working on the different positions, as an advanced intermediate student, we'll be looking at things like speed playing, so being able to do runs. Being able to play overblows. And just getting more musical. So really opening up the whole range of the instrument from hole 1 to 10 and playing in different keys and positions. Okay, so I've been through all 4 levels, and chances are you probably feel like you fit a little bit in between 2 levels. So what I recommend that you do is that you pick the lower of the 2 levels. This isn't a bad thing. This just means that you're going to really get a strong foundation by picking the lower level, which will make moving on to the next level a lot easier. If you jump ahead too quickly, then you're going to find it really shaky and quite difficult to move quickly. But if you take your time and get those really strong foundations, you're going to be golden, and it's going to be really easy to get from beginner level at hole 1 to super duper advanced awesome harmonica player at hole 10. So just remember, it's a journey from hole 1 to hole 10, and we've all been along the harmonica in some way, whether you're a beginner or you're Jason Ritchie or Little Walter, or you're one of the great harmonica players. We all go through exactly the same process, starting to play clean notes, starting to add some extra techniques, starting to bend. That's totally normal, and it doesn't matter where you are on that timeline, but it does matter that you know where you are on that timeline. So what you can do now, if you click on the link in the description below, that'll take you to my website where I've set up each of these different levels. And I want you to just run through them again and select which level suits you and describes you best. And then click I am at that level, and it's going to prompt you to put your email address in. And then what that's going to let me do is going to let me send you lessons that are appropriate for you especially. And also it means that you can then go to my harmonica lesson library and go through the 200 lessons that I have and pick the ones that are appropriate for you. Now I know what level you are at on the harmonica. It means that you might not get a new lesson every single Wednesday because I'll be only sending you lessons that are at the level that you are at. So sometimes that means that you won't get one, but it also means that you're not going to get anything that's too difficult for you or ridiculously easy for you. Okay. Thank you very much for bearing with me. This is a useful thing to know. I know it's quite a heavyweight subject, but thank you for watching all the way through. And please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, because I put out a new harmonica lesson every single Wednesday, and I wouldn't want you to miss out on the next one. Before you go, I just want to tell you about a really exciting event that I'm organizing in Edinburgh, Scotland, which is the 2017 Edinburgh Harmonica Workshop. So the event takes place from the 21st to the 23rd of July and is going to feature workshops and performances from David Barrett, Liam Ward, Will Wilde and myself. As well as the workshops and performances, there are going to be lots of opportunities to jam, both with an amazing house band and also with some acoustic guitarists and also just harmonica groups. There's going to be lots of jamming and lots of playing. So places are very limited, but there are still a few tickets left. So if you want to find out a little bit more about it, just click on the link in the description below.